Oh, sorry, you caught me snacking. I was just having a grape. This is the famous Mr. Jack. He's come to say hi. This is the second part of our video on beginning a meditation practice. In this part, what we're going to talk about is setting up for meditation. We're going to talk about where to meditate, when, what position you should assume your body should be assuming, and how to mark the beginning and the ending of a meditation session. Let's begin with where you ought to set up. First, I'd find a place that's generally pretty quiet. So not a lot of noise, not a lot of distraction, not a lot of dogs coming in and out. A place where it's not too bright and it's also not too dark. And a place where the temperature doesn't vary a lot, just a nice comfortable temperature. People often ask, when should I meditate? When during the day? And for most people, the answer to that question, what works best for them, is to meditate either after waking right away or right before going to sleep. What's more important than time of day, is to allow the time of meditation to become routine. So if you try and fit meditation into random times during the day, you say, well, I got to get up early for a meeting this morning, so I don't have time to meditate this morning. I'll do it at lunch, or I'll do it this evening before I go to bed. I can pretty much guarantee that although you may be able to do that once or twice or three times, it's just not going to become a practice. To become a practice, it needs to become habitual. For my part, I meditate first thing in the morning, and I do one session a day now. It's about 45 minutes is the length of my meditation session, and we'll talk about length later on as well. I have in the past split meditation sessions or meditation during the day into two sessions. And I've done one session in the morning and one session at night. So maybe you're a morning person, maybe you're an evening person. See if you can find a consistent time, a time that you simply always set aside to practice meditation. And again, it doesn't matter so much whether it's morning or evening or midday. As what matters more is that the time be consistent and the same every single day. When you do that, then it's going to become a practice, and you'll have brought yourself very, very close to a consistent meditation practice. Another question as far as setting up for meditation is what position you should be in. I'm kind of in a classic meditation posture. This is a half lotus pose. So you can see one leg is on top of the other. This is comfortable to me. It may not be comfortable to you. You can maybe just sit cross-legged like this without bringing the leg all the way up or the foot all the way up into the lap. Or if you're super flexible, and I am pretty flexible today, this is a full lotus position. You may want to be there. If you're going to sit in a cross-legged position, I recommend, and by the way, this is my meditation cushion, Lord Jack, my meditation cushion, and this is a meditation pillow. You may not have a pillow like this. It's not required, of course, but a blanket is going to be nice if you double the blanket over, or maybe even fold it over a couple of times so that you have nice cushioning for the knees and the shins. That works. The other thing to remember is bring your butt so that it's at the front of whatever cushion you're sitting on, so your pelvis will tilt down a little bit. That will give you a much more stable and sustainable platform for sitting in meditation. Another option, which a lot of people use and works really well, is kneeling. So you can take, if you have a meditation cushion like this, turn it on its side, and then kneel, bringing the feet on either side and the shins on either side of the pillow, and then just sit yourself down. You can do this on a block as well, a yoga block or two, and just set your butt down on the yoga block. And this actually feels really comfortable, and you can find yourself staying in this position comfortably for a really long time. Many people meditate in a chair. That's perfectly okay. I do recommend that if you do meditate in a chair, that you bring your back away from the back of the chair so that you're not leaning into the chair. There are anatomical reasons and energetic reasons why the back ought to be separated, and you should use the muscles of the body to support the back, at least to a limited extent. Another option that people inquire about is whether it's okay to lay down for meditation. Most of the time the answer to that is it doesn't work very well. The reason it doesn't work well is that when you lay down on your back, in what's called a supine position, you're telling your body and your brain it's time to go to sleep. And more often than not, that's exactly what will happen. You'll lay down for meditation, and after about 2 or 3 minutes, bam, you'll be asleep. So I don't suggest that or recommend that you lay down on your back for meditation. But having said all that, find a position that works for you. That's the most important thing. And if laying down on your back works, go ahead and do that if you can do it without falling asleep. If sitting in a chair works, sit in a chair. If you want to sit on your knees like this, go ahead and do that, or cross-legged, or if you know some other position that you prefer, feel free to give it a try and find out whether it works for you. You also should have something that marks the beginning and the end of your meditation session. There are many timers you can buy, apps that you can buy for your phone, and you can set those so that they'll signify the beginning of the meditation session and the end of the meditation session. The one that I've used, the app that I've used on my phone for many years, is called Insight Timer. The app itself is free. It also records each of your meditation sessions, connects you with other people who are meditating if you're into that. It gives you a choice of a whole variety of different sounds to begin the session and to end the session. And obviously you can set how long you want to be meditating. Other meditation apps that I know of and that are just fine to use are Headspace, and Calm is another one. Or you can just use the timer on your phone if you prefer to do that. It can be sometimes pretty jarring, and it doesn't give you usually a gong or some other sound to begin. So that's really the end of part 2 of this session on setting up for meditation. Join me when we return in a moment for part 3, and we'll actually begin to get into some actual meditation. See you shortly.